Comparison between the Quest 3 to the Quest 2. Very similar headsets, but we definitely have some big changes on the Quest 3, so let's get straight into it. So if you're like myself and you're coming from the Quest 2 now to a Quest 3, you guys will probably notice a pretty big improvement in the actual screen quality, and that's thanks to the better processor and the new pancake lenses. We have a wider field of view, a higher refresh rate, and a higher pixel density than the previous Quest 2, which makes the viewing experience much nicer. Now next up, we're going to be comparing the battery between both of these, and with that better processor in here, we have noticed that the Quest 3 may have slightly less battery life than the previous gen. There are some ways that you guys could kind of get around this, like battery saver mode, or possibly adding a third-party battery pack, but overall you'll have to decide whether or not the improvement is worth having slightly less running time. Next up, we're going to be talking about the mics. You would think that they would have basically the same exact mic, but for whatever reason, the Quest 2 seems to have the more favorable mic. With the Quest 3, a lot of people were noticing just a little bit of distortion on the mics, and they just felt like it was kind of a step back when it comes to the mic quality. The mic does its job, and you guys can communicate with other people, but that's just something to keep in mind. Next up is a pretty small change, but the USB-C location has moved. So if you guys have accessories that you guys are using with that, it may not carry over to the Quest 3. And the audio jack has also moved to this side versus being right next to the USB-C on the Quest 2. All right, next up, we're gonna be talking about one of the coolest parts about the Quest 3, and that is the mixed reality. Thanks to the new cameras on this thing, you guys can actually see the world around you in color in great detail, to the point where you guys could almost read off your phone with the headset on. I say almost because sometimes it can be blurry, so it does take a little bit of playing around with, but it's definitely a step up and allows you to have mixed reality games, which is a ton of fun, as you guys can see. The Quest 2 does have pass-through if you guys tap the right side twice, but it's gonna be in black and white, and it's much more grainy. So it's good enough to see if someone comes in the room. It's good enough maybe to walk across your room to go grab a cup of water, but it's probably not gonna work for trying to look at what's happening on your phone. Next up, we're gonna be talking about comfort. Now, I will say the Quest 3 has a slightly different headband. Some people don't like it, some people do. I personally enjoy it. Also, something new is you guys could wear this with a ponytail now, thanks to this. As you guys could see, this is the Quest 2, slightly different design. Also, you may have noticed the Quest 3 is actually a little thinner. Thanks to the pancake lenses, they're able to cut down on size, which helped with packaging, and also makes it less likely for you to whack your hand on the actual headset sticking off of your face. Next up, we're gonna be talking about sound. Both of these have built-in speakers and an audio jack. Some people complain about the audio jack not producing enough power, so some